So, hello everyone, this is Lizelle Tixon from Abil 2C. So, this is my reactions about the film entitled DYY. The film features the story of a rebel during the martial law period living in a prison camp, specifically the story of Commander Lee Wai. In the prison camp, Lee Wai tries to hide the horrors of the martial law era from her son through different stories of Diwata and folklore, which in truth are foreshadowing of the true events of Lee Wai's story as a rebel during the martial law era. This film depicts the true-to-life experiences of the Filipinos who have fought over the dictatorship of the Marcos administration. Their suffering, their pain, their struggles, and all in all, their nationalism for the Filipino nations. In terms of how the keeps, mother and father keep the keep inside the camp, I personally think it was the right decisions. The keep is, sa Bisaya is gidakop, kidnap. As a mother and father, it is their job to raise their child, and no matter the consequences, it has to be them, or else what values and teachings shall that child be molded into? Practically, it seems their decision is wrong due to the unfavorable circumstances, but in a moral standpoint, it is correct, for that is the best the child shall be molded, and I agree with the moral standpoint. From the depiction of the circumstances portrayed by the main characters, freedom is to be valued most. Freedom allows one to be able to receive the most basic and precious necessities needed for a person, and in terms with the keep, it was forsaken for him. Those scenarios allowed me to reflect upon my freedom, and I now see freedom as a right and of the utmost importance to protect. A quick history recap. Martial law can only be declared if there is a threat upon the state due to civil matters, rebellions, and the likes. Major disasters or an outside threat like an invasion, thus allowing the military to take over the country. The President, upon approval, declares martial with his power. The civil society is against the martial law for the way martial law executions marginalized people and suppressed the freedom of the people, in turn denying the human rights of all. Most martial law films depict the historical event as a struggle between the Marcos administration and the Aquino faction. Most films, all in all, depict style of battle against two political parties to bring forth their beliefs upon the Filipino nations. Lee Wai, in its core, depicts the martial law era as a struggle of the Filipino nation and not about the two parties struggling for political power. According to the film, the martial law period enforces a marginalized society implementing strongly upon the social contract philosophy. In turn, the main concept of Lee Wai's fight against the Marcos administration is to have people see each other as equals according to her liberation theology, which contradicts the law and order enforced upon the martial law period. In this sense, Liway became a unique kind of film in terms of the depictions of the history and sensational era as a fight of the whole Filipino and not as two political powers struggling for a nation. In the script progressions of the film also has a unique way of telling the story. The story of martial law is a heavy topic, but the film has found a way to ease out the story through different motifs such as shadow puppeteer and flashback concepts. In a way, the martial era was given a true insight through the touching way the script progresses through the storytelling of the main cast. In terms of the technical aspect, like cinematography and etc., the film was on the above average side of things. There are times when there is a dead air upon the cinematography and it becomes awkward. There are also some parts in which the film was too dim, out of focus, or too many elements within a frame. This might not have hindered the storytelling, but it did create dead air and refrained the focus from the main key point of the scene. All in all, the technical aspects are above average, but it could polish a few more points to enable full-blown depictions. The acting, on the other hand, is superb. The actors truly knew how to depict their characters well. Every movement, every tone, in every inch of their body, they use it to their very limits to depict unto the audience the emotion and experience they are facing. It is as if the audience is forced to have empathy for the characters over how good their depictions is upon the film. The crew behind the film has clearly chosen a good cast of characters to portray Liway. Despite the film having some flaws, this film taught me a lot about human rights and the martial law period. Human rights were suppressed during martial law period, and all morality is lost just for the sake of one powerful man and propaganda. The influence of their propaganda still reaches today, for a lot of people still have not uncovered the full truth of martial law. Martial truly is a dark age for the Filipino people and should not be looked over. As a student, this film is an eye-opener for us all and a call for us to be heralds of truth. The propaganda of martial is still evident, and as the students who have seen such an eye-opening film, to let the people know the truth and to fight for our rights and other Filipinos' rights. All in all, this film is a must-see experience for students up to people of old age. The way the film depicts its story along with its technical aspects and acting schemes enables a unique and unforgettable depictions of the horrors and truths of the martial law era. As one of the producers said, this film is not a call to rebel against the government and take arms, but a call to vessels and bringers of truth. And this film has truly captured that goal. Hats off to Kip Obenda.